And we are live with another episode of She-Hulk Aftershow. This time talking about episode 6 of She-Hulk. I'm your host, Dimitri Pereira, and this is the show brought to you by The Keeg, where we watch She-Hulk right when it drops at midnight Pacific time, and we're here at 1 a.m. Pacific time to talk about the episode we just watched. I am not here alone. I got my co-host, Paul Lau. Paul, if you were a Hulk, did you say what color you would be? Did I ask you that already?
No.
What? There's so many different colored Hulks. What color would you be?
What? There are? I only know these two.
There's green and there's red.
Mm-hmm.
A-Bomb is blue.
Okay, I guess he's
Scar is kind of gray.
Stone skin. Okay.
Ish, yeah. Who else is there? His
Really?
Hulk has a daughter. She's green, but I'm just trying to. Who else? I don't know.
Claw is black and red.
Who?
Claw. When Hulk hulks out.
Oh, and Claw backwards. Oh, Hulk.
Yeah, Hulk backwards. Yeah. Claw.
I don't remember that one, but cool. Pick a color though.
Pick a color. I don't know.
You're
Vermilion.
I don't know what. I mean, I know vermilion's a color, but Kenna, do you know what color vermilion is?
I do not.
Okay.
Now you're making me have. I just know Vermilion City from Pokemon.
Well, it's a color.
That's all I know. Well, for those of you who are watching the live stream, you're watching it on twitch.tv/The Keeg Show or youtube.com/The Keeg Show. Or if you listen to the podcast, it's wherever you get your podcasts from. But if you're watching the live stream, you can tell who is our guest for today. But I also said it. It's Kenna Cameron, a.k.a. Ken Kitten. Kenna, how you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course. I love having you on the show, and I'm glad that I can get you for She-Hulk. Have you been liking She-Hulk?
Yeah, I think it's been a really fun show, and I have honestly loved that each of these Marvel shows have felt so different from the other, in my opinion. I just think it's really fun to see them tackle like different genres for these kind of shows.
Yeah. Especially this one, I feel like they went completely like, not just in like make the tone different or the genre different, but the whole like structure of the show is different. I'm liking it so far. Paul, are you have you been a fan this whole time?
Yes.
Okay.
I really love how it's casual superpowered people that don't need a big introduction or origin story. They just show up with powers.
Yeah.
No need to explain. So that might be how we get the mutants, which, okay, I'm for it. I don't, because wasn't that what Stanley said? Is like, we can't have a radioactive spider bite every single superpowered person.
Yeah.
So we just made the mutants and we're like, they're mutants. Excelsior.
Yeah. Kind of. Yeah. That was kind of the thing. It's like, okay, let's just mass produce superpowered people. With mutants. By the way, Vermilion is looks like kind of reddish orangish, like red velvet cake looking thing.
Okay, taupe. Sorry, my bad.
Oh, were you going for taupe?
Let's go for taupe.
Okay, you're gonna change your.
I'm staying away from orange.
Taupe is like a dark gray brown color.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fine.
70s.
Cool.
Whatever.
What were we talking about? Oh, the mutant stuff and the thing. Oh, well, I mean, I think it's interesting because, like, just the evolution of superhero shows in general have come so far, and the only reason we're able to get these type of shows is because some of those introductory shows like 20 years ago existed, like Heroes and Smallville. Heroes and Smallville I credit for, like, being the foundation of superhero TV. But like, because superpowers have gotten to the point in pop culture, we don't have to explain why someone has super strength or whatever and what that means. It's just, they have super strength. Or in the case of Mr. Immortal, yeah, he dies and comes back to life, and he just heals, and he's on his merry way. We don't have to go so much into depth. We've kind of accepted it in mainstream pop culture. Like, yeah, like some people have powers. It is
played by Major Domo from Book of Boba Fett.
Yes, it's the same. It's the same
Actor.
actor who plays the major domo. Yeah. Who was also on Veep. He's the guy who looks like Anthony Weiner to me. But anyway,
with his clothes on. Yes.
Yeah. Well, good.
Sorry, late night television jokes.
Kenna, what has been your favorite episode of She-Hulk so far, including this episode? This episode's what, 6? Yeah. What's been your favorite episode?
To be honest, I don't know if I specifically have a favorite at this time. I feel like I've enjoyed parts of each episode, if that makes sense. Like I really loved and thought it was funny seeing Jen try out like dating apps and like try to like navigate that, because I think that that's something just so relevant to like today's like dating culture, I guess. So
yeah.
But I honestly really did enjoy this one. Like I really thought this one, like for like myself personally, like, you know, I'm not the biggest fan of like going to weddings, and so I think Jen really I think Jen, I mean, like it's their beautiful time and it's great and everything, but I feel like Jen really did portray like the whole like, you know, unless you're like maybe like really presenting that you're in a good place in your life, like there's really no good time, because you show up and everyone's asking you, like, especially if you're not dating someone, like, oh, you're gonna find the one someday or something. So I don't know, I really did like this episode, even though I'm sure people are gonna be upset that there's no big cameo yet, but
yeah,
so
everybody's waiting for Matt Murdock to show up.
Yeah.
I mean, I was waiting, but this is not the episode. I think he's gonna get a full episode that he's doing stuff, but this was not it. Let's get down to the nitty gritty about your thoughts about weddings, Kenna.
You were just at one, Dimitri. So
I was just at a wedding of shout out to Freddie's roommate and Freddie's other roommate. They got married, and so I went out there, and they had a beautiful wedding. But I'm kind of the same way. Like, weddings are kind of weird. That being said, I like meeting new people and whatnot. But like, lucky for them too, I believe in their love. But I feel like sometimes when you're like iffish about like two people getting married, you're like, what am I here to celebrate? The free booze. That's it. But that's what Jen celebrated too.
It was not free.
Oh, it wasn't free. That's right. It was a cash
paying,
bar.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I guess she's making normal money, right? She just like.
What do you mean?
The firm, like she's not making like billions or anything.
Buku bucks.
Yeah, didn't she say like medium income? I don't know.
I think it's medium income for what she's doing, maybe. But
she lives in LA, and if you saw, we've seen her place. It's really nice.
Yeah.
So.
I did kind of there's so many things in this episode. I did kind of like, I relate to that, like going to a wedding alone, and then, you know, hopefully somebody sits next to you and starts chatting you up that you are actually interested in. I like them too. What's his name?
Josh.
Josh.
Yeah.
Josh and Jen. I kept being like, is he gonna be bad? Is there gonna be a twist?
Yep. I thought he was part of the goons.
Yeah.
You know, in some way, but nope, my guard was up for no reason.
No,
he's just a guy.
A good guy. By the way, Jen is so cute. Like, just like her playing drunk, like Tatiana Maslany playing drunk, doing all that stuff, was like really endearing.
Making her do chores at the wedding, like, is that a thing?
Sometimes you volunteer to help, right? You're like, don't worry, you guys do your thing. I'll go clean this up, you know? But
I think bridesmaids have a bit more like responsibility. So I think that's also why, like, it was just like, yeah, go do this. Like,
yeah.
So maybe that's like why, because I'm like, I've never been a bridesmaid. But
I was about
like,
to ask. Yeah.
Yeah. So my friends have been though, and it really is like, you're dealing with a bride who's high maintenance or whatever. Like, it can be like just doing the little tasks, like basically to make the bride's life a bit easier. So I'm like, because I kept forgetting throughout the episode that like she was a bridesmaid. Because there's a whole conversation where I'm blanking on her paralegal's name, but was like they were both talking.
Vicky? No.
Yeah.
Is it Vicky?
I forget her name.
Nikki.
I love her.
Nikki.
Yeah. With an
yeah.
N. Yeah.
Yeah, where, you know, she was like, oh, I really didn't want to be a bridesmaid. She's like, well, kind of like, why didn't you say no or whatever? And she's like, you can't say no when someone asks you to be a bridesmaid. So, yeah, I think that's why she was being asked to, like, do everything. Also, I mean, her friend wasn't the greatest, but.
No. Her friend, the character named Lulu, is played by, is it Patty Harrison? You know, she's been in a couple other things, but she's super funny. Yeah, Patty Harrison. She's super funny. I was surprised to see her in this, though. That's good. What was I gonna say? I was gonna say something, but I forget. But you're right. You can't turn down like a bridesmaid or a groomsman kind of thing, unless it's like a really big deal. It just sucks that like she wasn't able to be She-Hulk throughout the wedding. Because that was like the one thing she was like learning to be proud of. I feel like this has been a little bit of an arc for her, because she was like, she's not She-Hulk, right? Like that's kind of the like been the start, and then she's been like, okay, I guess I am She-Hulk. And she was trying to live it up in this, and then Lulu made her change.
Yeah, she can't win.
Yeah,
because she has to show up and tell people, hey, I'm single, even though she has like a great career and superpowers.
Right.
Which she tells us specifically, the audience, which I appreciate.
Yeah. It's kind of like, I remember when I left junior high, and I was like, oh, I want to go back and say hi to my teachers, my junior high teachers when I was a kid, or at least in high school. And, you know, my mom was like, don't go back there yet, or whatever. I mean, the general consensus is like, don't go back there unless you have something to brag about, like where you go. So I ended up not going back ever. It's kind of like that. You go to a wedding so you can brag. If you can't brag, then, you know, I guess you're shit out of luck.
What, like, I don't know. I think close friends, I have probably really good, I don't know, my experiences, like flying to Hawaii and just like reconnecting, or even like coworkers at the Mexican restaurant, like other servers. I went to their weddings and they were super dope.
I wasn't actually serious. It's a little tongue in cheek, but
oh, okay. Because family weddings, yes, that is the whole, you know, Paul, you're getting up there. I'm seeing a little white hairs and your forehead's receding. So,
and then you got to be like, I'm the taupe Hulk, you know?
I'm taupe. Yes.
Taupe out of all colors. Yeah. Kenna, if you were a Hulk, what color would you be? I got to ask you now.
Yeah, I think I would maybe want to be pink, but I think that's like influenced by, I love Lore Olympus. So like, I think my favorite character is pink. So I think I would want to be pink.
You've done that cosplay, right?
Yes, I did it one time, and I'm going to hopefully be doing it again soon. But yeah, so I think I'd want to be pink.
Okay. It'd be cool to like a dark purple for me.
Oh.
I think that'd be cool. It was dark purple. We got
hulked out heroes. Sorry.
What?
That's where all the hulked out heroes, where a bunch of Marvel superheroes became the Hulk. So Iceman, Winter Soldier, Thor. So yes, there are a bunch of colors. Wolverine was like a giant Wolverine.
He became like a furry thing.
Yeah. Spider-Man with the costume. He wasn't like a hulked out hero, but he has been a Hulk.
They've all hulked out. Just like everybody's gotten a Venom symbiote at some point.
Yeah, they keep handing those things out. Yeah.
Party favors, you know.
Yeah. Don't go hungry. Here you go.
There's two plots in this episode. One is the wedding plot, which was the Just Gen plot, and then there was the Mr. Immortal plot.
Mallory Book?
What's that?
Oh, sorry, with Mallory Book and Nikki.
Yeah, with Mallory Book and Nikki. Kenna, how'd you like the Mr. Immortal storyline?
I love Mallory and Nikki, so I loved seeing the two of them. And I won't lie, as somebody that like casually reads comics, I was a bit confused as to that storyline, but I also have trust in the writers that I will understand it probably down the line. So I'm interested in it, but like as of now, I'm like confused. That's only because I'm not like, you know, as into especially She-Hulk and like Hulk territory with that stuff. So I'm like, I am anticipating understanding why there were like split storylines.
I mean, I feel like it's going into classic. What I've been saying since episode 4, at least, is like TV classically has multiple plot lines that go on in the same time, right? Like but Marvel shows have like because movies tend to have like one plot line, and then TV shows have like different plot lines for different episodes, and they weave in and out, right? Like we've all seen TV, you know, Buffy does that, right? Like A, B, and C plots, like Community does that, all that stuff. And that's like the TV. But like I feel like that's what Marvel shows have been lacking, you know, for the longest time. Is that, and so I think in episode 4 they finally did like multiple plots, and then 5, and then here in 6. Has it been distracting?
I mean, I don't think so. I mean, I think because we did see it a little bit in the past ones as well. Like WandaVision, there was slightly the one. So I mean, I don't think it is. I think like it would honestly be a bit like monotonous or kind of a little bit. I mean, I love Jen, but I think when you're doing a TV show, like you do really need like a few different plot lines. So, I mean, at least for myself, I don't think it's been too like chaotic.
Yeah.
Well, it contributes to the theme of all her. Well, the one guy that like kind of just dipped, where this Mr. Immortal literally dips from life and then just leaves them like hanging. And then you get to see Mallory and Nikki basically say, we'll represent you, but we don't condone you. We kind of hate you. Yeah. Like it's that kind of like, oh, they're not without morals or principles, but they do work. So
it is work.
You know,
yeah.
And then the whole emphasis on relationships, because like the elf that could shapeshift, I think that was like more to do with I don't know, I guess identity, you know, on top of it being a fraud case. And then that one was like was it like settlement for divorce? Or like one lady settled for 25 seconds of eye contact and an apology.
But like she also knew it would hurt him the most.
Yes.
Because that's kind of the thing, like paying fines for super rich people, not a big deal. But can they say they're sorry? Can they admit like wrong? Sometimes it's just like, I don't know. It's a different sort of punishment. With Mr. Immortal though, it's funny because Mr. Immortal, as a character in the comics, he's like a wannabe superhero. He is a superhero, but like he's on the Great Lakes Avengers, which is like a parody team. So they do like Deadpool was on the team like once, and like it's kind of a tongue-in-cheek superhero team of like loser superheroes.
Except for Squirrel Girl.
Squirrel Girl is the big, but Squirrel Girl almost satirically is a powerful hero, right?
Oh no, for sure. But I'm just saying it was nice that after Monkey Joe 1's death, that she like, I don't know, just everybody was like, okay, she beats Dr. Doom. Okay, she beats.
Right. It's like an ongoing thing. Squirrel Girl beats everybody.
Yeah.
Do you have a Squirrel Girl cosplay, Kenna?
I don't. I know one of my mutuals, Tova, does Squirrel Girl, and it does it so well. But no, I myself do not have one.
Do you feel like when you have like a friend that does a specific cosplay, you're like, you can have it, it's yours, you do a great job?
Until I saw like her do it, I honestly did not know she was a character. I've only now really been getting into like the comic. So so for this case, yeah, I'm like, oh, you can do her, only because I'm like, I still know very like little about her. And I do know it's a running thing, like she beats like everyone.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So I for now, and because for myself when I cosplay, I'm like I at least want to like know the character or like have some idea of who they are. So
yeah, for sure. Is it Do King? No, DC King. Yeah,
Yeah,
DC
maybe he's
King
from
03.
DC and he's royalty.
Not Duking.
No, duking would be. Duking is pooping.
Duking.
But yes.
0303 says would be a good cosplay. So I'm assuming DC King is talking about Squirrel Girl. But yeah, so Mr. Immortal is more of just a straightforward kind of hero in Marvel. And then in this, it's just like taking the power set. You're never going to use Mr. Immortal ever again. What's the point? Let's just use him on this kind of joke of a storyline. But when we see at the wedding, there's a couple of different things we see at the wedding. And that is Titania coming in, right? What do we think is going on with Titania? She's been a joke 2 for 2, right? 3 for 3, 2 for 2, whatever. When they've only fought once or twice. And she's like lost comedically both times, right?
They fought in court.
Did they?
She-Hulk got her name back.
In the first episode.
Oh, I thought we were counting this episode. That would make it 3.
What?
When I say fought in court, I mean they fought a lawsuit battle.
Oh no, but I mean like fist fight. But
sure.
But I guess she lost that battle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's been doing a lot more online stuff and like fake commercials on Twitter, and I'm seeing more development there and her guerrilla advertising of taking down the posters than I am seeing of her.
Yeah.
So I'm a little disappointed that we're not seeing it, but these episodes are short, and I guess.
Yeah. Chances are, like, they cast her, she did a great job, and then she kept just creating more and more ideas, and they're like, we can only do so much in the episode. Why we'll give you the funding, just go out and do whatever you want. And they're probably doing that with her.
Yeah. It's just the lipstick commercial she did. She's like, She-Hulk, what even is this? What am I talking about? Just buy it.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, it's all, like I said, there's like so much more development, and I know more about the character, but it's almost like comics, like, oh, I didn't read the comic. Oh, I wasn't on Twitter because, I want good mental health. But no.
Have you been liking Titania, Kenna?
I have been, and I might be a little bit biased because I do love the actor that like plays her.
Yeah. But
I think that she's an interesting character because, like, I know she has to an extent like some powers, but I think she's mostly like, I think it's interesting to see almost like an influencer be like this like villain. But I think I don't know. I really like, and I know some people don't like that, but like I really like that She-Hulk is being very relevant to like the age of like social media and like all of that. And I think it's interesting to see Titania as that, and to see maybe like the like kind of not so great side of people that are celebrities or even influencers. So I think it's very interesting, especially when she's at like the I don't know if it's like a launch party, but for the She-Hulk thing, and Jen shows up and she's like,
oh yeah,
so rude to Jen, but then to the other people are like, oh yeah, I'll get a picture, like I'll do this. I just think it's.
And then she asked Jen to take the picture, right?
Yeah, she does.
She said only one.
Yeah. It is an interesting shift of like what we would think of a villain, right? Because we already saw Abomination, which was supposed to be the biggest, baddest guy ever, and he's like, I got 8 wives. That's cool. 8 soulmates. 8 soulmates. And we keep, like, I don't know, we were talking about it in the first 2 episodes or whatever. We were like, are the 8 soulmates Thunderbolts? Is he going to be on the Thunderbolts team? And then, no, it's just soulmates. I feel like it's, like, purposely what's the word? Our expectations.
Subverting
our expectations.
I think you were the only one that was jumping to that conclusion, sir.
Okay, maybe I'm trying to get the next big clickbaity TikTok off the ground.
Who are these soulmates? Are they the souls of the dead? Is it Johnny Blaze? Johnny Blaze?
It's Mephisto.
Ronnie.
It's Mephisto, But like, yeah. So what was I saying? So Titania is an influencer, and I think it's interesting. I think the basic overall She-Hulk kind of thing is trying to dismantle our fear or hatred or whatever of strong women. So, because a lot of these jokes come to at the expense of toxic men, you know, which is fair because toxic men are in a lot of trouble. Mr. Immortal, everybody else. I'm not gonna go through, but everybody in the show, right?
His name Todd? No, the guy that got swindled from the elf.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So all those court cases are all about like toxicity, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I guess by virtue of being a court case, maybe they're all toxic anyway. Like that's just what it is.
I just took you to court because I miss you. No, like that's not.
Yeah. Emotionally fulfilling court. I don't know. But we see the intelligentsia, which is a weird incel-looking message board kind of thing.
Like a BitChute or
and then they got a lab too. You got any ideas on what that is, Kenna?
Honestly, I do not. I just was kind of, when I was watching, I was like, oh, that is so creepy. Like when we just see like the scene, and then I thought it was like, to me, it was really weird to be like, okay, like we are watching people watch Jen. Like I just was like, that's just a lot of like,
yeah.
It was weird. Yeah. Like, so I don't know. I honestly don't. And like, as I said, like the area of which the show is really making me like, Bruce Banner and love Jen even more. Because I just wasn't as familiar with those two characters. But yeah, so honestly don't have too many thoughts other than like it was weird. And I guess I mean like probably like my running theory, which is I think pretty supportive. They want just whatever made Bruce and her Hulk like to create, I guess, like others like them, but not for like great use. But again, yeah, I don't have any strong theory. And I try not to theorize when I watch the shows. I mean, especially like I'm still new to comics and everything. Yeah. So I'm always like, I'm just gonna watch, see what happens next.
They always do their own thing though, right? Like I feel like a lot of the MCU properties are inspired by, or they do adapt certain storylines from the comics, but as a whole, they're like, we're just gonna do whatever we want, right?
Yeah.
This whole Abomination thing, Titania, none of them are like the comic version. And it's fine. Some of it's better because of it, you know?
Well, real quick though, Kenna, you brought up Bruce Banner and she calls him at the wedding. So I'm guessing her relationship with her brother is not like as chummy or...
Who?
Huh?
Who's
Jen. Because her brother like tried to sell that She-Hulk makeup and get her to sign it, but she couldn't.
That's not her brother. That's her cousin. That's Chad.
Oh, Chad's also a cousin?
Ched.
Ched is a Best Buy cousin?
Wait, what?
The guy that works at Best Buy that lives with her dad, I thought that's her brother. Like her younger brother with the long hair?
I think that's Ched, her cousin, who's the DJ Inchedible Hulk.
Okay, I forgot then.
Okay.
Whoops. Okay, yeah. So then Bruce is just her like, it seems like her only, I don't know, vent.
I think she's an only child, right?
Oh, okay.
Ched's the dumb cousin. Bruce is the smart cousin. I think that's...
Oh, that's what the joke they were making in the beginning where like, you're not the only smart person. He's like, yeah, there's Ched.
When was that? I missed that.
First episode.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So...
Yeah.
But like, yeah, I guess he's like some, emotional support because she wasn't really going through any like weird hulking changes. So
right.
Yeah, totally confides with them.
By the way, in the post-credit scene, or not post-credit scene, but in the credits animation or artwork, Ched is making out with Lulu in the photo booth. There's like a thing there. So but it also has some cute artwork of Josh and Jen in the photo booth too, which is nice. I like them together.
I thought they were going to smash that venue. Like
What?
when
Like-
Titania and Jen, not smash in the venue. I meant smash up the venue, as Hulks often do.
When Titania gets thrown into that guy, the guy like falls, and then like he gets up and Titania like pushes him again. It's so dumb, but I laugh every time.
Yeah. Gosh, throwing up and then getting punched in the face. Man,
Oh, yeah.
that's not.
Also in human form. She got punched as a human.
It's weird.
Does she have enhanced durability as a human, even when she's not the Hulk? Not strength, but just like, can she take a punch?
I'm going to assume she has the same durability as Bruce. And in Thor Ragnarok, he leaps from the ship and lands on the Rainbow Bridge as Bruce. And it looks really painful right in front of the Fenris Wolf.
Right.
So
that's right. That is true. I forgot. What was I going to say? And then Titania slipped and broke her teeth.
Again, why wouldn't your teeth be?
What?
Why wouldn't her teeth be indestructible? I don't know. Like
her teeth are veneers, they said. Also, we don't know what Titania's like how she got her powers.
Is that why
she's just not as strong as She-Hulk?
Oh yeah, I was wondering if like maybe she got a hold of Bruce's blood in the first place, and that's why Bruce is really kind of extra careful about burning blood and not having any.
Yeah.
You know,
Kenna, for you, and basically in the comics, the Intelligentsia are like the smartest supervillains in Marvel. Kind of. It's the smartest supervillains that can work together because there are other smart supervillains that won't work with them. So they end up being like the nerdiest, smartest supervillains that are like tend to be Hulk villains. So it's Paul's background right there.
Egghead, Red Ghost, Leader,
it's like
MODOK. Who's that? Is that supposed to be
what?
Mr. Hyde, or I can't remember that guy, the green with the long hair.
Yeah, that's not Mr. Hyde.
Okay, I didn't know Mr. Hyde was smart. Okay, and then Dr. Doom.
And then Dr. Doom's only part of the Intelligentsia for so long
because his ego.
Yeah, and they all have like egos and whatever. But I don't know whether they're gonna go that route of the Intelligentsia in the show, or whether like it's just not related, because we know the Leader is going to be popping up in Captain America New World Order, which is the fourth Captain America movie with Sam. We know Leader's popping up there, and we last saw him in Incredible Hulk movie. So like I don't know what they're going to do with the Intelligentsia, but it seems to me they're a bunch of incels that, like, if I had to theorize, they're just a bunch of incels that are jealous that a woman that they feel does not deserve the power of the Hulk, and they want to take her power and give it to themselves. That would be something that a real life person would do, because, you know.
I just don't want it. I don't want this show to be a downer because of tragic real life events. Because, you know,
which one?
Like,
is there one specific?
Oh, just like some, like, I don't know, like a mass shooter is like super incelly, and then there's, you know, Manifesto, and I don't know.
I mean, that's kind of the history of.
I know.
The history of history, you know.
So, but is this where we see Frogman? Like,
oh yeah. At what point do we see all these like ones that we've seen in the trailer? When do we see Matt Murdock?
We don't.
We are eventually.
It's never happening.
I feel like it's like, I don't know. I'm honestly a little like, and I love Daredevil. Like, and it was a show I honestly got into because of No Way Home. Like before, like when it was theorized he was going to be in it, I was like, let me go like watch the show. And but I'm honestly really happy that they're like holding off on him, because like I really do feel like with some Marvel content, not even like to that much of a degree, but like the cameos can really take away from the main characters. And I feel like No Way Home, I think honestly did a really good job with it, where like it wasn't like anything overshadowed Tom's Spider-Man. But anyways, I am honestly really happy that they're holding off on the cameo, because I think like we can really see these new characters like to the MCU really like develop. Yeah. I do really want to see Matt Murdock, but I'm like, I can wait because I really am enjoying like Jen, and like honestly I like a lot of the mundane stuff that they're doing with her life, because I think with superheroes, especially in Marvel, I don't think we really see that. So I think it's really refreshing.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Like I like the mundane stuff. I like the thing when Pug last episode was talking about the Iron Man 3s. It's like, okay, there's a bunch of shoes named after, you know, at least Iron Man. Who knows if like people had like the Hulks, you know, or whatever. Like, who knows if there's a whole line of shoes on different Avengers. But like, it is kind of the mundane stuff. The drip broker and like all that stuff. That was like really fun. Jen at a wedding, you know. If they had treated this show more like some of the previous Marvel shows, then it would have just been this like, who's the main villain? Let's have like her go from like fight to fight. Every episode has a fight, and like been more action oriented. But I feel like they made a deliberate choice in this show to not do that.
I feel like it's there. I really have been liking that they're trying to, I think, break from like the recipe or like the formula that they've used in the past, because like I really think this show especially has been redefining how like viewers think of like villains and heroes, because like especially like Titania and like even a few of the other ones like Mr. Immortal, like they're people we would encounter in our everyday lives. Like I think in the past these villains have been so like, you know, they're aliens, they're these like larger than life people. But I think I think it's interesting that they're trying to do that, because I think especially with like Marvel, I think it did really work well for them in the past to have that. But I think going forward it's going to be a nice to kind of break from that, because I mean at least She-Hulk, I think they're doing a really good job of like breaking from their normal, like, okay, here's, like how you mentioned, like they're fighting a villain, this is the plot, like, et cetera, et cetera.
Right. Do you like the Netflix shows because of that? Like, they kind of have smaller scope villains?
Yeah, I think I still haven't seen Punisher, and I still haven't seen, I think there's one more.
Have you seen Jessica Jones?
I have not yet. So yeah, I'm just about to finish Daredevil. Okay. Because it's been a process. I'm almost to the end of season 3, but okay, I really do like that. I like the build up to like the big villain. Like I think it's like, you know, and again maybe it's just how I as a viewer take in media. I do like this like the TV show format, because I think we can really see more of the character as well. Because I think in the movies, like, I think that's like my biggest critique is like you really, unless they're going to really focus on you, like Steve or Tony, you really, I think a lot of these like, you know, fun details like Bruce's life with Jen, we literally didn't know about until we could have time to like flush it out. So yeah, I think that does influence me liking this kind of format.
Yeah. There will be like a handful of character moments in movies, but like it's not the same. And this show hits different.
Yeah, it's like I feel like these shows are introducing non-comic book readers how comic books are. And it's not like She-Hulk is this blockbuster movie and we're so, you know, hyped about it. It's like, no, these are all different properties. We're throwing them all at you. You might not pick up some of those issues, but they're weaved into there. And when they show up, it might intrigue you to go look them up. And then, you know, you might like it. Whereas as much as like I like the Netflix MCU or Marvel,
yeah,
they all kind of were shot on the same camera. They were all in New York. They dealt with vastly different themes, but it did feel very samey in regards to just the setting and like the way it's presented. Where this, it's like, yeah, it's not like as serious as Captain America and the Winter Soldier, or as, genre as WandaVision, know? And then Moon Knight is kind of like a memento, kind of like, mystery. So yeah, I'm here for all the different types of Marvel, except What If. A lot of John Coulson in that. No offense to him, but it's just like, wow, you're really reaching way back. Phase 1.
I mean, What If wasn't that great, but like maybe What If season 2 will be good. Who knows? But I'm fine with it existing. I'm not hating.
Yeah, I like Marvel Zombies, but
yeah, well, I forget what I was gonna say.
You've done 2 shows today. You've watched a ton of television. It's fine. 3 episodes of Andor back to back to back.
Yeah, that was crazy. With She-Hulk, we have 3 episodes. Oh, sorry. Just real quick. Jonathan the dog. I laughed out loud when they were like, that's her groomsman was Jonathan the dog at the wedding. And they're like, we just resuscitated him.
Oh.
The little like poodle looking dog with the tongue sticking out of his mouth.
Was I getting a drink? I might have.
Do you guys remember?
I missed that.
It's.
I think I missed it too.
What? Okay, so Jen, they were like, "Hey, can you iron the groomsmen's shirts because they're getting sweaty playing video games?"
Oh, and that's the new sport. Yeah,
it's a new sport, right? And so, okay, fine. And then Lulu comes out with the dog because they were like, "Oh, you'll be with Jonathan, right?" They said it earlier. You'll be with Jonathan. Jonathan's so cute. Yeah, he's so cute. And then they bring him, and he's like this little like dog, and that's the groomsman she's partnered with.
Oh, I thought Josh was Jonathan.
No,
I must have messed up the names when I was watching.
Oh, while you were watching, you thought he was one of the groomsmen?
So that gives Josh a lot better. I think better of him as a polite man introducing himself to Jen, who's stuffing her face filled with candied nuts. Yeah.
But no, Josh and Jonathan are different. Jonathan's the dog.
Yeah. Okay.
The dog who like he was like.
Got it.
Yeah. And they're like, oh, we just resuscitated him today or whatever. Which is sad because I used to have a dog like that. But what was I going to say? That it just made me laugh out loud, and you guys didn't notice it. All right, it was just me alone laughing to myself.
I feel like I typically with these like shows and just in general, because when they come out so late, I typically will watch them and then we'll rewatch them when I've like slept.
And notice the things you didn't.
Yes, because I again, that's something I glossed over. Like, I think I was probably like, grabbing my ring light or whatever for this podcast or something. So I'm probably gonna have to rewatch. Like, I think that's funny. It's like,
no, I'm the same way. Like, there have been times where like Paul will be like, "You remember that part in the episode?" And I'll be like, "Oh, that must be because I was editing a video while I was watching the show." Oops.
Multitask.
Uh-oh. I missed it. It's like that was like a big part of the episode. I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. There are 3 episodes left, right? This is episode 6, so 7, 8, and 9. 3 episodes left of She-Hulk. One of which is going to be Matt Murdock. Which episode I do not know. Do we have any wants or desires for anything in the final 3 episodes? Final 3 episodes. Any theories? I know you don't like to theorize, Kenna, but like, you have any idea?
I mean, my hope, and we already know we're gonna get it, is Matt Murdock, and I think that like, not like a bad way. Like, I will go and be like, this would be cool if this happened, but I think it's like such a like, it's because I think there's some. People like go into any movie being like, oh, this is totally going to happen. I've plotted this out. Like, this is going to happen, then get like upset when it doesn't. So yeah. I think for me, I'm like, oh, this would be cool, but I don't need it to happen for it to be a good show or movie. But I think it's mostly just Matt. But I think also I would love to see Jen really, because I think she has accepted She-Hulk, and she's like, I am She-Hulk. She-Hulk is me. but I really still think she's struggling to find that balance because, like, you know, we saw like as soon as she was like happy, like, okay, I'm She-Hulk. Like, as soon as she was Jen, that one guy was like, oh no, I don't really want to be with Jen. I just want to be with She-Hulk. And so I would really like to see her, I think, more so come to terms, because I think she has, but I think in every situation we've seen her in, except maybe, well, even with the date, I'd say a little bit, like she almost had to be, you know, either She-Hulk or Jen. Like for the wedding, she had to be Jen. For work, she's She-Hulk. So I would love to see her, like, and I know that's one of the themes of the show is like that kind of divide. So I would love to see her really find that balance and be like, I really don't care what anyone else thinks. Like, I am not going to be influenced by work, my, you know, kind of not so great high school friends. I'm just going to do what I want, and I'm going to be She-Hulk or I'm going to be Jen.
Yeah. It would be nice to kind of have that wrapped, like at the end of the season. So in case we get another season, like we get to see her like fully explore that, you know? I'd love to see her punch someone in the nuts. Like, I want there to be like a big bad supervillain guy who's just like, ha 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 ha. And then she's just like, she punched him in the nuts. Maybe that's just me. Not me getting punched in the nuts. Maybe that's just me wanting.
You have what you said. We know. We heard you. Clip that. Somebody out there clip that.
No, don't clip it.
I want to get punched in the nuts.
I do not want.
I want some guy to get punched in the nuts, and that guy's name is Dimitri with an H, but not where you think it is.
That's true too. Nobody knows where the H goes.
But I know where Jen's punches go.
I do not want to be that person. I'm just saying, if there was a villain like the leader of the intelligentsia that like was super maniacal and then gets punched in the nuts, I think it would be super funny.
She's emotionally vulnerable, and she's letting us, the audience, see her insecurities and confiding in Nikki.
Yeah.
But she's physically indomitable. So when is that part going to happen where she has an opponent that can actually take her out? That isn't just, shitty life, being single
or
and dating
Titania,
in your 30s.
Who's like half her power set, if that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's because like these team ups, they're kind of just like just meetings, right? Like passing bys. So what if Daredevil is costumed up, right? In the previews.
Right.
It's like, okay, are they gonna like prowl the streets or fight crime? I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe it's gonna be like I don't know.
She has a superhero costume. They said. We just haven't seen it. I think we've seen it in promotional pictures, but we haven't seen it in the show yet. At some point, she's going to put on the superhero suit to superhero, right?
Yeah. I mean, Nikki's going to tell her about the intelligentsia and people thinking, like, plotting to kill her. Because she has that talk with... Oh, no. She leaves a message on her phone. Yeah.
Where is she right now? What happens at the end of this episode?
We see the lab of the intelligentsia.
Yeah.
What about right before?
She's with Josh, I think. I think they're having like
French fries.
I think it's fries, yeah.
Which is what happened with the other guy, where she's like, "You must put some fries and get out of here." So
yeah, fries are her go-to, which I get.
That's where there's fries, there's fire. Wait, what?
Kind of, in a way. Yeah. Yeah, I still think Bruce is going to come back in the final episode with a.
Yeah.
I think he's going to come back with his child. Because I think there's going to be a paternity. This is what I've been saying, Kenna. It's like, I think that She-Hulk is going to have to do a paternity or a custody battle case for Hulk and his child that he had on another planet. And maybe those aliens being like, no, we're going to keep him for our planet. And because that's like a classic, like, lawyer movie kind of thing, right? Kramer versus Kramer or whatever. I Am Sam also was a custody battle thing.
Can you do it in 24 minutes and then sideline Jen's story?
I don't want them to sideline Jen's story, but I'm just saying, like, maybe it has to do with, like, it will focus on Jen. right? And a Hulk family, I guess. I don't know. Or maybe that's a season 2 thing.
Yeah.
Maybe we don't need it.
Maybe Nikki's in danger. Maybe that's the vulnerability.
I mean, Nikki leaving the voicemail on the phone, that's a classic, like, either Nikki gets in trouble and then She-Hulk can't get a hold of her and then hears the message and whatever. So, yeah, maybe. Also, it makes sense. The Intelligentsia is there to hunt She-Hulk, right? So, they would take her friend.
It's just they're losers. That's the problem. Like,
Yeah.
all we've had is just
They're
a bunch of
incels.
losers.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the Wrecking Crew. So,
Yeah.
just a bunch of dorks.
But also, like, just their message board was very, like, Andrew Tate shit.
I mean, he's more a misogynist, but sure.
Okay.
I mean, they're like legit, like trying to.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah,
I
and
get
Andrew
the
Tate is terrible
delineation
too,
trying to-
but not like a violent, like
Yeah. He's a violent misogynist, but not violent. I don't know.
Well, no, he's definitely like a human,
Piece of shit.
trafficker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He might have histories of violence too. Didn't he like
He's a UFC or a kickboxer, but
didn't he flee the country? Isn't that something? Look
for
it up.
the human trafficking?
Is that what it was? Okay. Well.
Yeah. Anyways, I know too much about Andrew Tate, so
yeah. Well.
From my home state of Indiana, Goshen, Indiana.
Oh, well,
it's like a couple miles away from me.
I'm sorry.
All we have is just Kylo Ren, me, and then
is Adam Driver from Indiana?
He's from the city next to my city. He went to Mishawaka High School. Yeah, went to Riley.
Oh, bumping butts, huh?
That's weird. No one says that.
That's not a thing. That's not a thing that people say.
Hey, skid skidoo, bumping butts.
Bumping butts. You're bumping butts with Adam Driver's town. You guys' towns are bumping butts.
Sure.
Bumping town butts. You know.
All those, yeah.
All right. Well, either way, there's a couple episodes left of She-Hulk. I can't wait. Kenna, do you have any final thoughts? Are you gonna be sad when this season is over after like 9 episodes?
I think I mean, I see. I get so. This is normally why I wait to watch these shows, because I like to just like binge them and feel like I'm like watching like a full show, because I feel like we get them kind of put out like each week. But I'll be really sad. I mean, I'm like, okay, like I love getting in the swing of it, like where I'm like, okay, Thursdays when I watch She-Hulk, and then once it's over, it's just like, okay. There's Andor, so I'll have that to watch. Andor. But yeah, I will be a little upset, but yeah, I'm going to appreciate these last 3 episodes just a lot.
Yeah, there's also Werewolf by Night that comes out in 2 weeks or so.
It's already the 21st today, 22nd.
It's the 22nd.
Jeez, September really flew by for me. I don't know about you too.
Soon it's going to be my favorite month.
My niece's birthday is on Halloween, so it's a good month.
Kenna, do you have any Halloween costumes planned?
I do. I'm actually gonna do 31 looks in October.
You are what? 31? That's a lot.
Yeah. So like, I mean, some of them I already have. Like, I will say, like, I'm gonna do some of them like what if zombies. So like those. I mean, I have the outfits already. Because last year I really wasn't able to do it. I was just so busy finishing up school, and like I was working as well. So I was like, I didn't get to do it. And I feel like this year I'm like, I really want to just like full send it and do it. Yeah. So I have a few that I'm excited about. But I know, and a few I'm still trying to plan out, because I'm like, for me, like as long as it's like somewhat of a spooky movie or show, I'm like, okay, this counts. Like I thought about doing Evelyn O'Connell from The Mummy, and I'm like, that counts. It's spooky. Yeah. Like it's like, so that I do have a lot coming up for October. So I've already started filming for that, because I'm like, that's quite a lot. I don't want to do it every day filming. I said that's just way too much.
Yeah. Are you gonna make the Book of the Dead?
Honestly, I should. Like I have the free time to do it. So like I feel like I should try.
I love The Mummy. The Mummy is one of my favorite movies.
It's so good.
I think is in my top 5, Paul. Have I talked about this?
We were talking about action movies or just movies? or franchises?
Oh no, it makes my top 10, but it doesn't break my top 5. Okay, that's what it is. My top 5. Yeah. Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
Movies ever? Okay. Yeah. No, I mean it's excellent.
It is one of my top. You're right. It was one of my top action movies. You know that because we did our action movie episode. We talked about favorite. Yeah. But good luck with that, Kenna. I'm excited. I'm excited to see the 31 looks. Are you gonna? Is it called the 31 Looks of Halloween?
I'm still trying to find a name. I know a lot of my like friends or mutuals have like specific hashtags or names, and I'm like, I honestly like I just go with the flow with stuff. So I'm just gonna like, I don't even think I'm gonna call it really anything. But again, if I think of a really creative name, like I definitely will. But I'm like, that's a lot of creativity, and like I'm not saying I don't have creativity, but like that's just like some people can really just like mesh words or their names and their name into like something, and I can't do it. But yeah, no, I'm excited. I think it'll be a bit stressful, but I'm also like, you know what? If I miss one day, I'm kind of like, I miss one day. Like, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah, I'm with you. Well, I'm excited. I'm excited for that.
Let's brainstorm right now. Come on, improviser. Kenna, spooky, October, Halloween.
Ken.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't float like that well. Like I'm like my one friend Hannah like said like Hannah-ween or Hansa-ween, something like that. Like it kind of like I could see like where like, you know, she can put it in.
Yeah.
Like I'm like, I can't really see because like I feel like the K is quite hard to like, you know, put in.
Spooky.
Yeah.
Pumpkin. That sounds weird.
Yeah. No, I like.
No. Anyway.
See, it's hard, yeah.
Yeah. Ken O'Lantern. We'll work on it.
Yeah.
If anyone out there has ideas, let us know either in this chat or comment on our podcast episodes. Kenna, do you have any final thoughts about She-Hulk before we get going?
I don't think so. I'm very excited about the last couple episodes.
Yeah. I want to thank everybody out there. I want to thank you too, Kenna and Paul, for coming on the show and taking time out of your night to be here. I want to thank everybody out there for watching, including DC King 0303, and anyone else out there watching on YouTube and Twitch, or listening to the podcast wherever you get podcasts from: Apple Podcasts, Google Play, SoundCloud, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. If you're on social media, you can find us on social media at The Keeg Show. That's TheKeegshow on TikTok and Instagram, and on Twitch, on YouTube, so on and so forth. Facebook, Twitter, we're all over the place. Kenna, where can we find you online? What do you got coming up?
Yeah, so I'm on. So it's all gonna be variations of Ken Kitten, and I'm gonna sound like Madison, but it's Ken with 2 N's. Okay. So on Instagram it's just Ken Kitten, and then on TikTok it's Ken.Kitten. Because my original name was taken. Yeah, originally that was my username like a year, I think around a year ago, and then I changed it. But the original one is taken now, so I had to add the dot in the middle. So yeah, you can find me there. I'm pretty active on both platforms, so.
Okay. Are you on Twitter too, or is Twitter not like your
thing? Yeah, I am on Twitter. It's random thoughts, so that my Twitter is just Ken_Kitten.
Okay. I love how like a lot of I would say like 50% of our guests have Twitters, but then whenever I ask them about it, they're like, yeah, I mean, it's bullshit though. Like. And it's like, yeah, I feel like that's a common thing across the board. It's like, I got a Twitter. I say dumb stuff, but I got one.
Yeah, that is my go-to.
Follow my Twitter for dumb stuff, That's fair. Paul, where can we find you?
At Mr. Plow on Twitch. I keep trying to play Fortnite and it keeps crashing, but I can play any other game. And then Paul Out Jokes. And speaking of October, it's a tradition to do 31 days of spooky jokes for kids. So we have to do cheesy kid jokes.
Okay.
Like, what did the headless horseman how does he start his morning with a cup of decapitated coffee? Like, really bad. You read them, you groan. Yeah. I love them.
Okay, cool.
Anyways, that's it.
It is super dumb. Okay, great.
Yeah, it's bullshit. You said it yourself.
No one's proud of their Twitter. They're just like, that's just where I dump all my dumb ideas. Thank you to both of you so much for being on this, talk with me about She-Hulk episode 6. And thank you also to Trevor Reese for editing these podcast episodes. Definitely a big help. Yes, follow the Keeg at the Keeg Show, wherever you get your social media. Other than all that, thank you everybody for being on this, for watching it. Once again, I'm your host, Dimitri Pereira, and this has been the She-Hulk After Show, talking about episode 6. Later.
Super strong or super fast. Gotta beat the boss and get the loot, 'cause it's the king.